Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dory and today I'll be talking about hiking food. Especially when you're on a budget, this video is for you. Firstly, let me answer a question about where I actually buy my hiking food, and you might be surprised because the answer is, quite frankly, I buy almost everything in the supermarket. Most of the foods that are very good for hiking you can find in the supermarket, so you don't have to go out there and find a special outdoor shop or something like that. And don't think that because you're on a trail you can't just make a decent normal meal. All you have to do is make sure that you choose something that you can cook outside. There's a lot of dehydrated food available and most of it is pretty cheap. If you haven't subscribed yet, just hit the subscribe button and also the like button and hit the bell notification. Today's video will be about how to select your hiking food from the supermarket. I want to give you guys the cheapest options. So you all heard about these backcountry meals. They cost about $17 and what you get is something like this. Now, while these are really good, very nutritious, if you're on a budget, it's not exactly the best option. This one in particular, it's a roast beef and vegetables. I probably paid $17 Australian dollars for it. As you can imagine, if you have a hiking trip for 30 days, that's 30 times 17, it's too much. In general, it's a very nutritious meal. It's a very good meal when you go backpacking. It's also easy to use, but then again, if you want to spend $17 on every single meal, then please do that. But if you're like me and you're on a budget and you're going on longer hikes and you kind of want to budget your hike as you go, then please keep watching. Also watch until the end, guys, because I've got a pretty big surprise for you. So one of the options that you can get in the supermarket is actually one of those dehydrated pasta meals. This is what it looks like. For example, this one from Continental, which is actually my favorite one. It's a creamy tomato, parmesan and basil. It's called a gourmet pasta meal. Probably not as nutritious as the backcountry meals, but it's a lot cheaper. When you get them on special, it's about $4.50 for two. And yeah, for a single one, they're usually about $3, which is quite a significant difference in price if you think about it. Now they have like so many different varieties. Continental is just a brand. There's other brands out there, but for me it's my favorite because they have the most variety and they're delicious, to be honest. Then you have the normal range as well, and they're even cheaper. So for example, this one, creamy bacon carbonara. This cost me $1. Well, because it was half price, but there's specials every time. Like, just when you hold off and wait for the specials, you can do a really good deal on these things, you know. So these are two varieties. Again, there's at least 5 different varieties when it comes to these meals. They even have curries and, you know, risotto, everything you want. And if they're all just $1, I think it's worth it. So aside from pasta and dehydrated meals from the supermarket, there's also the option to go for noodles. And these are my favorite. So the Indomie nasi goreng, mee goreng noodles. These are my favorites. I used to eat them almost every night, but then they don't carry that much nutritional value for the weight. I think you can buy 5 for $2.50. If you have 2 for one dinner, that's it. That's like $2.50 for 2.5 dinners. Isn't it amazing? Instead of pasta and noodles and all these dehydrated foods, you can also go for mashed potato. And nowadays in the supermarket you can buy instant mashed potato, which means that you can buy these little sachets. And this one, for example, it's 125 grams and it's got 4 servings for $1.20. And guess what? It just add water, just add hot water. And then I've got a little surprise for you, because this might be bland, but if you mix instant mashed potato with gravy, I mean, seriously, that is genius. I saw someone do that on trail and I thought it was absolutely genius, because all you have to do is put water in there, put water in here, and mix the two together and you have this instant, beautiful flavored mashed potato. So I have this little can here, but it's a powder and you can easily put it in a plastic bag when you go hiking, so then you don't have to take the tin with you. Talking about waste, I'll just share with you as well. I'm planning to make a video about how to not carry too much waste on trail. So because be mindful whenever you go out on trail, whatever you take, that's what you need to bring with you for the rest of your hike. So unless it's edible, then you can eat your way through your food. But you know, this, something like this is a lot of waste for, you know, it takes up a lot of space and you know, it's just useless. If you put this in a Ziploc bag, then that's it, problem solved. Anyway, we'll do this in another video. I've given you a few options now to choose from for dinners. Now what about snacks? Because you can buy these really expensive protein bars and like, you know, these outdoor bars or Cliff bars, you know, everyone's raving about it and it's great. But what are some of the cheaper alternative snacks? One of my favorite snacks is actually chickpeas. Chickpeas have a lot of nutritional value and they are light if you buy them in packages like this. This is something new, by the way. Last year I didn't see this, but now you can buy this in the supermarket and you don't even have to drain it. You just open the packet, start eating, and it's delicious. And they really keep you going. It's basically like a meal. So sometimes I even have this for lunch. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I think this is about $2. You have different varieties as well, like you have lentils, I guess, and a few other things, but chickpeas are definitely my favorite. Another one of my favorite snacks that is cheap is, of course, Snickers. Snickers are high in calories and they really keep you going for a while. They contain nuts, peanuts, and peanut butter, you know, like caramel. Mind you, it's high on sugar as well. But, you know, look at this. This is mini. And so it's got one of the highest calorie to weight ratio snacks available. Plus, if you buy it in a big bag, it's going to cost you like, I don't know, $7 for 24 Snickers. Or 24 mini Snickers, you know, this is what I paid, by the way. Another alternative are these oat slices. So these are some of the healthier nutrition bars that you can get from the supermarket. You can get those really expensive bars from the health section, and while they might be very nutritious and they might be loaded with, you know, good stuff, if you're on a budget, it's not always viable to buy 100 of those when you go on a hike. So I usually buy a couple boxes of these and they have different varieties, so they have different flavors. My favorite personally is anything to do with berries and white chocolate, but also honey, so it has to be a little bit sweet for me, but also needs to keep me going. So oat bars are especially good because they release energy really slowly. Another cheap lunch option are these. So I'm not talking about a brand, but I'm talking about wraps. Any type of wrap will do. They're a lot cheaper than some of the lunches if you go to the backcountry meals again. Let's say this packet cost me $4. It's got 8 wraps in it and it will last me 4 days. I think that's pretty good. And I have with it peanut butter. So I buy a jar of peanut butter, I spread it out over the wrap, and that's my lunch. Sometimes I do also have an avocado with it. It depends, because avocado you can't really keep fresh for long. Another cheap option for lunches or even for snacks is tuna. So tuna you can buy these days in little sachets like these again. You don't necessarily have to buy the tins, and especially when you're looking at waste, guys, bear in mind that you can't toss a tin anywhere. Unless you want to have a garbage bag full of waste after your 1-week hike, I recommend do not buy tins, please. This little packet alone has 17 grams of protein, and that's great. On your hikes, what you need is protein, carbs, like slowly releasing carbs, and high fats and slow sugars, like such as fruits. Of course, if you like Nutella, go for it. Just instead of peanut butter, take Nutella, for example. That's also good because it's got it's high in fats, it contains nuts, and yeah, there you go. Another thing I want to share with you guys is if you have, for example, a $1 meal and that's not enough for you to keep you going, then what I always do is I have a soup before my dinner. And you can buy these packages for $1 or $2, and they have 2 serves. Sometimes they have 4 serves, it depends what brand you're buying. If you have one of those before a meal, it will fill you up before you eat, and it also heats you up inside, so it's very good for those cold nights. So then the last thing I want to share with you is breakfast. how do you go about cheap breakfast? So you guys, everyone wants bacon and eggs on trail. It's a dream, but you can't have that obviously. Unless you buy one of those dehydrated expensive meals, from the outdoor shop. I have never tried a breakfast before, but it is definitely something that I don't want to spend my money on because there's some very nutritious options available that don't cost you any money. One of the things that I do buy are these oats. They come in little sachets like this, and all you have to do is pour hot water on it and it's ready in 90 seconds. If I have a big day ahead of me, I usually have two, otherwise I'll just have one, and it keeps me going for the whole morning at least. And I don't even feel hungry for lunch if I have 2 packets of this. Oats are one of the most nutritional meals you can have on trail. They will keep you going for a long time and they don't cost you a lot of money, but you will get tired. If you're on trail for 14 days, after a few days you'll be done. So what do I do to prevent that is I'll take a lot of different varieties with me, such as apple, berries, blueberries, triple berry, anything, honey. Yeah, so that really helps me on my journey. So this is it, guys. This was breakfast, lunch, dinner and snacks on a budget when you go hiking. I hope you like this video. If you do, give me a thumbs up and also don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. In the beginning of this video, I told you that I have a pretty big surprise for you. I am filming these videos from Perth, Western Australia, and we have almost no active cases of COVID-19 anymore. And they've actually lifted the travel restrictions today, which means that we can go hiking again. I am thinking of doing either a section of the Bibbulmun Trek or do the whole thing, or just do a section now and then do the whole thing in September. I haven't made up my mind yet, but honestly, the seed is planted in my head and I feel like I should just do it. I don't know, what do you guys think? Should I just go for it, do an end-to-ender now while there's not that many people on trail, or wait for September? Because September is a wildflower season. So I would love your feedback. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time.